the rod flows mimic the natural flow regime in the sense that they are really focusing on the springtime, right? The spring flows. They're mimicking the natural rise, the snowmelt pulse and recession that naturally occurs when the snowmelt comes out of the watershed. And they do a great job of that. It's very predictable, and this is the natural time of year when flows are most predictable in the channel, right? So if you think of an unregulated river that has no regulation in it, we know it's predictable in the sense that there's flows in the wintertime. They can be variable. I could get a winter storm that comes through and the flows come up and they come back down the next day. But in general, the flows are going to be higher in the river and there's some variability. But when we get to the spring recession, that snowmelt and that recession is very predictable. And actually, the ecology knows that, and they've cued, all of our native species have cued their life histories into that predictability of the snowmelt recession. Because it always will melt snow every year if there's snow, and it takes a while for that snow to melt, right? There'll be a certain duration down to like a time that the water drains out of the watershed that's very predictable. What's unpredictable in natural rivers is the occurrence of the winter storms. They come in the wintertime, but they could come on December 5th, or they could come on February 15th. But again, our native species are adapted to that, where they have strategies for when a flow comes in, they hunker out onto the floodplain, or maybe they go down to the bottom of the river where the flows are really low. And so our species are adapted to that. The rod decision flows have been very stable in the wintertime. That's very predictable for people and predictable for the species, but maybe not exactly what the species need.